Okay, light's not bad. Whoop. Light's not bad. I'm gonna close that door for pajama stream time. Morning with Mel. I'm gonna close, hold on. I'm gonna close the door because that will visually bother me, and maybe I'll close this door because then my son is gonna wake up and wander in to say good morning, and then we'll all have a view of morning Wesley. Good morning. Okay, I'm sitting right in front of the big window in the wool room, and this light's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. But if I could just describe the conditions out there today. Oh, okay. If I had to go out in it, happy Saturday, Tracy. If I had to go out in this, obviously I might feel different. I did have a friend tell me one time, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing choices. I was like, really? I don't know. I have to stew on that. Good morning. Just opened day 7, True North Guts. Oh, and happy afternoon. I'm listening while I'm baking an Ann Chase cake. You're doing it. Hey. Kailey, I can't wait to see what you do with that old family recipe. I don't really have a lot of family recipes. In case anyone's wondering, Kailey was on Instagram. Hold on, lived through multiple hurricanes. I would say there is bad weather. Right, Marie? I would agree. I actually lived in Florida for 4 years. Never got to be there for a hurricane though. I had tropical storms and stuff, but never got to be there for a hurricane. But I did live in Arizona. And I don't really know how you dress for 117 degrees. And it's 105 in the middle of the night. I don't know. Okay, so are we downing that friend's viewpoints on dressing? Back to Kailey. Hold on. Okay, Kailey is making a cake today from a family recipe of mine. Kailey, now I want a family recipe of yours. Oh, yeah, let's do that. And I'll bake it because Kailey's got some cool books, those fun spiral spine style where the family all compiles their stuff together. She was showing me. It was really special. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Coming in on the live. I actually rolled out of bed, threw on the robe. We got the hair. I got the special hair clip that's gonna give me the boost this morning. And we're gonna open up day 7. And it's gonna be so nice. Uh-oh, sound is going in and out. Is it just me? Everybody okay? Wi-Fi wise? Is it my Wi-Fi? Lisa Porch. Not in a store parking lot today. You taking Saturdays off? Are ya? Okay. Nice. All right, sound is good. Just giving folks a few minutes to come and get in. Oh man, I already love today so much. I'm on my 2nd cup of coffee, and all my MellyKnits tasks today are just super fun. I get to pick open a fleece for Origins, and we're gonna start carding that today on the homie. Come on, homie. Big homie, come a little closer. We're gonna start carding that today on the big homie. I put together Guts 1 yesterday, and working on putting together Guts 3 today. That's the Chaos Guts. Fun. There are open spots in, because the renewals just went out today for Sommelier. I got an opening in Guts 1 so far, and in Blossom actually this month. And actually, a butt hair spot opened up for January. Hello, Lisa. Good morning. Good morning. Anybody else PJs, or is it just me, West Coasty, over here? Are all you East Coasters already dressed and people on the other side of the world? Or are there any other West Coasters that are just going to take a slow start like me? PJs. Hi, Fionn. Okay. Shall we begin? Are we all feeling beginny now? Let's begin. Okay. All right. So for the, oh, we got lots of PJs. Look at this. Kailey, I would have, but we've had a dentist appointment. I'm so sorry. Oh, Fion's here for Era's tour. Nice. Yeah, the city is like a buzz with Taylor, with T Swift being here right now. I knew so many people going yesterday. I have neighbors going today, and the neighbors are decorating like her husband's bald head with, they're like bejeweling his head. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. Okay. So good morning. Official intro. I am Melly from MellyKnits. If you have wandered into this live randomly, I have a little business, a home-based business where I buy a ton of raw wool from sheep from all around the world, and then I wash it, and then I brush it out on these big machines called drum carders, and we make these little things called bats and sell those to hand spinners, who then will go and spin them up on their wheels, their spinning wheels, on their spindles, and make yarns, and then like knit, crochet, whatever they want to with it, weave. So that's what I do. That's my nutshell. A little home-based business. Yes, that's what I am. That sells round the world. Well, right. Right. There's like 200 of these little units that leave my house every month, but whatever. Okay. So that's what I do. I do this full time. It's awesome. I love it. It's the coolest job I've ever had. And I say that as somebody who, my first job was cleaning diesel tanks on Canadian Navy boats. I did that. That was not a cool job. I mean, it was cool, but it was like awful. Like but it was cool to see it. Even just the security to get on the boats and just going through that process, I was like, hey. Yeah, anyway, okay. That's a random fun fact. And from a bazillion years ago. All right, here we go. Oh, okay, so we're here opening up my Advent. So I built 2 Advents this year, an all Canadian Advent called True North. That's going to cover the whole country and territories with wools and alpacas. And then it's got 6 treasures in it from Indigenous makers, Canadian Indigenous makers. Then I made Delightful. This is one I did last year, and I did it again this year. And that one tracks with 6 fine wool fleeces, and they're divided. So you get to spin that fine wool fleece plain, and then the next day you spin it with a 20% infusion of something sort of interesting. For instance, yesterday's was wallaby. That was what went into the mixture. So spinners were out there trying out some wallaby. So and that one has handmade treasures. It has to be handmade, maker made, and I go as local as possible for those. I try and really grab makers from like my immediate area. Anyway, so that's what the Advents are. And today we're opening day 7. Opening day 7. And the purpose of these videos is that we just go a little bit deeper into the breed, if there's anything interesting about it, the background, getting the wool, or finding if there's an interesting whatever story to it. And I do like to talk or speak to processing that fleece, in case there's people on here who are also fiber processors and want to like know what you're in for, even though every fleece is so different. It's like still, I don't know, we can kind of lump certain things together, right? Like we talked long wools and stuff like that. So today is odd number 7. We're going to open True North first. Okay, so we're going to open right now. It's so pretty. Our beautiful little bag. Okay, here we go. Day 7, True North. And this one has a treasure that came loose in the bag. Where's my treasure? Wait, no, Delightful. Delightful day 7 has the treasure. Yes, because we opened the soap yesterday. Sorry. Delightful has a day 7 treasure that's loose in the bag. My bad. My bad. Okay, thank you. Thank you. My bad. Here we go. Mr. Moose says it's day 7. We're tracking across the country from east to west. So today we are in Manitoba. Here we go. The unveiling. The unveiling. La la la. Boom. There's our color for today. True North, day 7. What have we got? Well, there's our lock. Let it focus, focus. Okay. Today we are playing with Manitoba alpaca. Her name is Carmela, and she is from Hundredfold Farm. And then we've got British Columbia wool. Did I do 3 in a row? British Columbia's? I'm not getting sidetracked. Hold on. With a sheep named Little Bo Peep, who is a CVM Rommeldale from West Coast Color. All right. Now, West Coast Color is very, very familiar in my shop. I pretty much exclusively, not on purpose. I'm not like, oh, I'm exclusively only going to use wool from Lynn's flock. But like, A, I love Lynn. B, Lynn and Chris's farm is like local in the sense that it's like a 4-hour drive, okay, which isn't like, but that's really kind of nothing in BC. Like a lot of places are a lot of drives away. Anytime you leave my area, everything is 4 hours away, minimum, right? So that's not really shocking to have to go that far. And her flock is stunning, right? So I'm not like, I feel like I'm not really looking around for like other sources because it's just so good. Okay, Kailey's confirmed 3 BCs in a row. That's so funny. I will show you guys at the end. There is like a chart on the board where I put down all of the different wools that I was collecting from the different provinces. And then I was matching alpaca by color and by texture because I wanted to have the advent all be different colors. And then I went geographically across the country based on the alpaca. So the fact that 3 BC wools came in a row carried by their geographical alpacas is sort of hilarious because it's quite random. Anyway, tangent. Okay, so West Coast Color. So I'm speaking to this wool. I love Lynn's wool. Oh, that's the tip there. I love Lynn's wools. I love her flock. I find that processing her CVMs, I know them so well now too. I've probably processed more than 20 of these suckers. Just love them. I hadn't had Little Bo Peep before. My current reigning champion was still always Peso, which was funny because I had the opportunity to get Peso's fleece this year and I didn't. Oh, but I got Prince. That was a good one. Tangent. Stop. Okay, here we go. I gotta hone in. I gotta focus. All right, here it is. Here is the West Coast Color CVM with the Manitoba alpaca. Oh, yeah, Manitoba alpaca. So the story with this alpaca, same as how I got the Manitoba wool. So we spun Manitoba wool on the first day of True North Advent. It went with the Newfoundland alpaca. And I told you guys the story about how Sam MellyKnits on Instagram answered my call when I put a story out on Instagram stories. I just was like, anybody going to the Manitoba Fiber Festival? And she was like, totally. And she picked up wool for me from the live auction that they had an auction there. And she had me on FaceTime and we're reading cards together and looking at stuff. And then also grabbed me a bag of alpaca from Hundredfold. So I had been in contact with Hundredfold. And this actually was just really convenient because we could lump everything together and buy it in person and look at the color. So the color for the Hundredfold alpaca, I don't have any left, was like a rich, like red. Like, you know how alpacas can get like super dark and red? You could probably see it if the Guts people post and I share in their stories. It's like a really gorgeous deep color. And I loved it with Little Bo Peep's color because like perfect, right? Such a pretty color. And to actually just lean into these rich, warm tones, you know, with the alpaca. So right away, one of the first determinations I made when I was matching alpaca with wool was that I wanted to keep this one rich. So my only 2 options for doing so was the Nova Scotia alpaca that we opened up on day 2. But I told you guys that one was a grade 3. And I didn't want to stick a grade 3 alpaca in the CVM because this is so soft and buttery. So the only other like ruddy, reddish, deep alpaca I had was the Manitoba alpaca from Carmela. And so that like immediately I just right there, that's where we're going, right? And then put the other one into a white fleece to get that kind of fun pink color. This is how I was determining with colors and with textures and things like that, who was going to go with who. Hence why it's also kind of interesting that we did 3 BC wools in a row. I promise all the provinces are in this thing. All of them. Okay, for wool. So West Coast Color, CVM Rommeldales. I have been to Lynn's place. I have processed a ton of her farms. Lynn is a no-kill farm, so none of her animals get processed. None of them are for meat. Lynn is like the unbelievable amount of care. She even has a barn, just, it's full. There's all these cats in this one special funny section. And she just goes in there and she's just feeding everybody. And they're just like, it's, I don't know what it was. It was so special to be there and walk around and see her animals. And she knows them by name, and which I know a lot of shepherds know them by name, right? Like they know their flocks by name. But the absolute amount of true like love for her flock and heartbreak, like when the vet does need to visit because someone's super old or whatever, like we were there for the pre-days of that experience happening. And it was just really special to see like that intense amount of care, to be there and be around it. And I don't know, I really loved it. I loved being there, and there's all sorts of ethics in this, right? Like in shepherding, and different people are like, we've got wool from no-kill farms in this advent, and we've got wool from farms that operate as butchers. And so it's very cool to see the different ways people do this job, right? Like it's so varied. But with Lynn, love Lynn. I've learned a lot from Lynn. She's spectacular. She's also a dyer. So West Coast Color, she dyes a top. She also has her yarns made she has yarns made at the mill from her flock and rovings and things like that. So if you haven't heard of West Coast Color, check her out. Gorgeous dyer. And I don't know if she's got things on her website. We can find out. Robin, happy Saturday from Ellensburg. Happy Saturday, Robin. Okay, so there it is. That's today. Processing a CVM. All right, let's talk about that. If you haven't done it yet. So CVM Rommeldale, I use those names interchangeably. As far as I'm concerned, they process exactly the same. What the difference is color patterning. So if you don't know that, CVM California Variegated Mutant is like a color pattern thing happening on a CVM. So if you take a CVM and it's kind of one color, and then you get one that has specific coloring like here, and then like here, and then like over by its booty, like these spots, then they go, oh, well, that one's a CVM. For me, the wool is the wool. Like when I'm processing them, they are like if you're blind touching and processing and carding, they behave exactly the same. It's a coloring issue. So that's how come I just put CVM Rommeldale. I believe this one is just a CVM. I didn't see any spotting on Little Bo Peep, but I just put both because, I mean, okay, don't come at me, but we're like talking about the same wool. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Anyway, so processing a CVM. They're very spongy. Anyone who's looking at this, you're going to start out with a lock that's going to be quite a bit longer looking than this at the start, and then you wash it and it goes whoop and it shrinks right up. So if you're ever looking at a CVM and the thing is like 3 inches long raw, just know that after you wash that, you're going to be dealing with like this little itty bitty lock. They almost naturally have, I don't want to say texture, like in the bad way, like big clumpy lumps of like neppies and things like that. It's not like that, but it's almost like you can't ever get like a CVM to be smooth. Like it is smooth. This is smooth, and this is going to spin without, like this will draft without interruption in your draft, right? But like some wools, you card them and they just like, they're just smooth. It's like they organize. CVM is sort of like full of character. It's very lively. And so a lot of times when I'm answering questions in DMs, I'm trying to hold still because the light is not allowing us to focus today. People are processing CVMs and they're like, I just don't know why. It seems like it's kind of, there's something, I'm like, like kind of almost like curdled, like I don't, but good, like in a, that's not a good word, but like in a good way. There's like, Kailey. Oh, I'm not reading that one. I'm letting the live chat find that when it comes up. There's something, what is it? Like it's all brushed out. It is smooth, and yet it's not smooth. I don't know how to say, I need to find the word for this, where there's just something going on texturally with CVM, where it's just got a liveliness to it. You'll see it in the yarn when you finish spinning. Like it's, anyway, not your bad, Kailey. That was hilarious. So when you're processing these, I almost always do 3 scours, even though I'm usually a 2 scour person. I always do a 3rd scour with a CVM because they're super crimpy and they're poofy, marshmallowy. They're like, they've got just all of this action happening. I sometimes feel like sometimes we can see organized crimp right this way, and then sometimes you see it going this way, and then sometimes you see it come that way. And I feel like CVM is doing all of it. It's got all of that happening and more. And then it just looks like a hilarious little fluff. Like it looks like I already put this lock like through like a lock popper or something like that. I didn't. This is just how it comes off the animal. So that's my notes on processing CVM. They're real fun to pick open. If I've got a CVM coming up to pick, I'm like, yes, because they're super easy. It's just like, and you get these big, sturdy clouds of wool. Sturdy, there's a good word for it. Yeah, like this wool has like a good center of gravity to it or something. It's kind of got like a chonk. Okay, so picking them, glorious. Carding, it's fine, right? Like it's definitely like on the, it's a pretty fine wool. Like this is a medium wool Advent, but I would say this one's pretty soft. They card good, just go slow. Just go slow, let it do its thing. Don't let it bounce back, you know, just take it nice and slow, let everything feed onto your carder, and then you should be good to go. So there's anything about CVM. Does anybody have questions about CVM? Oh, also this Manitoba alpaca came as comb top. It was impeccably prepped. It was beautiful. Would definitely recommend 100-fold. I'm definitely going to be going back. A sturdy cloud is perfect mixed messages, and it's awesome. A sturdy cloud. There it is. That's what this is. This is a sturdy cloud. Yeah. I'm going to definitely be going back to 100-fold to get more alpaca from them because I just thought it was gorgeous. It was like a really beautiful prep, nice roving, loved it a lot. I'd love to see what their raw stuff looks like now that I'm a little alpaca washer all the time. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're moving on. Kailey, a sturdy cloud featuring some shrinkage. Anybody? Oh. It's the light in here today. Okay, there's what we did today. There's no questions about CVM. I'm gonna move right along. Yeah? Yes? Love you, CVM. And hi, Lynn, if you watch this. Love you, Lynn. Okay, here we go. Delightful. Day 7. We're meeting a new fine wool breed today, and we get a treasure today. This is the treasure. It says day 7 on it, but I couldn't like stick this to the blob. You feel me? I couldn't stick that to the blob. Oh, this bag smells good. Okay. All right. Let's do a new fine wool today. First, should we look at the treasure? Yeah, let's look at the treasure first. Okay. This treasure comes from this woman named Sarah. She lives in Chilliwack, British Columbia. And she's a watercolor artist. And she hand painted 30 of these floral-esque snowflakes for me for the Delightful Advent. So they're all hand painted, each one individually, and signed, little signed artist mark. So everybody in Delightful, just like last year, last year had a little winter scene done by Crux Fibers. This year we had Sarah, paint us up a beautiful watercolor floral snowflake. The idea of like that kind of tundra flower, like icy but floral and beautiful, and I loved the combination of snowflake and like that floral vibe, and the way the watercolors melt. Like what I'm showing you on here is not going to do it justice. She's got like some kind of shiny like mica in areas where it's glossy. Anyway, just gorgeous. So she's a brand new artist. She's just started doing this. Like, she's always been painting, but she's just started selling her painting. I found her on Facebook Marketplace because she was selling hand-painted greeting cards. I love Facebook Marketplace. I love Facebook Marketplace. So she's on Facebook Marketplace and she's selling hand-painted greeting cards, local artist, hand-painted greeting cards. And so I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm going to do this project, blah, 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 the same spiel I give everybody. Would you be willing to? I don't want a greeting card because I want it to feel like art, like a postcard. People could send it, sure, or they could hang it. I have mine hanging from last year. I got hand-painted art all over my house. I like original art a lot. Like it's important to me. Original art. I don't want, like, prints are good if they're prints of original art, similar to like these bags, right? This is original art and then she printed it, right? So, but like how we got the color, how that worked, like, give me a break. Oh, so good. Okay, so super grateful to have met Susan. She spent a long time working on this project. And then anyway, the day that I received it, I just got this gorgeous stack. So her info, I'm going to put it here, okay? So you guys can see, because you can contact Sarah. Why do I keep calling her Susan? You can contact Sarah if you ever want to see what other art she has. But do I know where it is? She sent me a gift. I might not, I'm just gonna take a sec, okay? Because I'd love to show you guys the little gifty she sent me, if it's easily and readily easy to find. If I've stuck it somewhere strange, then we don't get to see it. Could have swore it was right in here, but maybe not. Maybe I'm dumb. Hold on. No! That would have been so fun to show you guys. I should have thought of that in advance. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Okay, she painted me this beautiful sheep. Is that my sheep? No. Where did I stick that stinking sheep? She painted me this gorgeous sheep. And it's like the most beautiful, and then I've gone and just like in the chaos of, you know, everything, gone and shoved my sheep somewhere. Never mind. I don't know where my sheep is. It's too bad. She painted me a beautiful sheep where she took all the locks around its face and watercolored them different colors. If I find it, I'll stick it on Instagram. I can't think of where it is. Okay, Kailey, you'll find it as soon as the live ends, right? That's when I'm going to find it. Dang. We're moving on. We're moving on. Where did I stick that sheep? Maybe it's in my bedroom. I'm going to find it when the live ends and I'll put it on Instagram. Day 7. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. We're meeting a new breed today. Now, the name of this one. No one's. I giggled my little stupid head off because to me, it just was perfect. I was trying to describe this wool. Let's look at it. We'll talk about naming it. It's so dumb. So dumb. I wonder how many people are so confused out there. Like, Melly, are you okay? All right, here it is. Here's the color, okay? Here's the color of today's Delightful. Y'all seeing? Seeing that gorgeous color? Yes. It's so beautiful, right? Right? Look at this babe. This is today's color for, oh, it looked better in front of the white paper. Dang, didn't it? Today's color for Delightful, okay? So I'm thinking of naming this thing. And obviously, it's very dark. It's very dark. Super black and gorgeous. So, darkness. Darkness. The void and like all these other words came into my head, but just, you know, simply it's darkness. But then my brain goes to the Lego movie where Batman is my favorite character. in the Lego movie. And he sings this song because he's Batman, right? And he's like, darkness, no parents. And that's what he sings. So I called it Darkness, No Parents. This is How Nui, babes. We have hand processed How Nui in the Advent this year. So stinking gorgeous. But I had to call it Darkness, No Parents. I couldn't just call it Darkness because in the song he sings Darkness, No Parents. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should find out because Batman's hilarious. He's the best part of those Lego movies. All right. Okay, here's the lock for the How Nui. Did anyone get that reference? If you did, put it in the comments. If you opened your Delightful and you were like, ha 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 ha, then the chin suck, ha ha ha. I'd like to know. I'd like to know. All right, here's the How Nui lock. Let's see if we can get it to want to see the black thing. Let's try this. Let's try mid white paper. Does that help? A little bit? A little bit? I mean, it's hard. The cameras never like to pick up anything that's jet black. This is jet black. So I reached out to Harriet, who is the shepherd over at How Nui Wool in New Zealand, just over at How Nui Wool in New Zealand, over there, telling her about the project and that I wanted like a super black fleece. And she grows like the color that she calls ebony. They sell comb top in the ebony color, and it is like, it is the void. It's that level of black, which is difficult to find in raw wool, like a true black, because a lot of the times they're gonna have a tip that's been sun bleached. So then when you start to card the wool, it's no longer truly black. Now it's black with like a reddish undertone, or it's black with like, there's a paleness that can kind of pull into it. This one, if it'll show you, come on, you got this, camera. View, there. No tip. Do you see that? No tip. And this is even a Hogget. No tip. And she actually wrote that on the bag because I was real specific with her. When I was asking, I'm like, can you check the tip? So generally on a little baby animal, the tip that you'll see here on like lambs and stuff is what they had like when they were like in the womb, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes they can be really tender and they can be problematic. These Hoggets, aka yearlings, as we call them over here, are like the no tip, man. No tip. Not even, and this is like an animal just chilling out. It didn't even bleach. Like this was perfect. This was the perfect black, which is sort of silly because then I went and blended it with like a light gray. I sullied it on purpose. So I took this jet black fleece and then decided that I needed to bring it into gray a little bit more. Isn't that the dumbest thing? I request the blackest fleece ever. Then I go ahead and blend it with a different How Nui that Harriet sent in my shipment to take some of the black out of the black that I requested. Even Harriet was like, but anyway, I liked the color better. You can see the difference there between what came out into Delightful and what was sent. All right, so like you can see that contrast. Now this, it's showing us the original wool color, super, super dark. And then what we end up with here, that's like black with a bit of an edge. It's more like a charcoal. I wanted it to look like a charcoal briquette. I wanted to bring it away from this super, super black, just because when I started getting the color story out, I had blobs of every single fleece and I was looking at them against a white page. And I was just like determining this color story that we were telling. And I just didn't like the boom, like Sharpie black with the other colors in the Delightful story. So you'll see at the end when they all come together, I'll show you the blob board that I have, why I toned this one down just a bit, took some of that dark edge out of it. So there it is. So How Nui, for anyone who is unfamiliar with the breed, is a relatively new breed, but my goodness, is it popular and is it absolutely everywhere. And we love it. And there's a reason for it because it's a fine wool. So Harriet's mom, Harriet, if you're on here, correct me in the comments, okay? If you're here. I don't know if you're here. She was here the other day. Harriet's mother's the one who developed this breed. I think back in like the late 80s is when this breed got developed. So it is relatively new. And Harriet and fam are in a sea of white wool, right? So so New Zealand, they have a whole different thing with wool than we do, right? Like Canada, I don't know if we even have 1 million sheep. I don't think so. But like How Nui in New Zealand, millions, 50 million, 70 million, I don't know. They got some huge number of sheep, and wool export is a huge deal, and everybody commercially wants white wool because then they can dye it and they can do things to it. So being a producer of colored wools is actually like, it's actually like an interesting move to where, you know, the neighboring ranches might be like, you're keeping those colored sheep. You're not going to cull those sheep because like white wool is the commodity. White wool is the color that's gonna move commercially, because then the design houses, the yarn companies have the ability to dye it. So these guys went full in. Their flock has all kinds of color to it. It's absolutely stunning, and it's been super popular with like hand spinners, and they've been making rovings out of it, and it's just been really awesome. Harriet told me the whole story, and I've probably got a bunch of it wrong as I just shared it there. But if she shows up or she pops into the comments and gives us the story, or maybe we can make her do a story time in her Instagram, it's fascinating how they came up with this. But the mom liked a bit of a more medium wool, really liked a Romney, and they started blending their merinos and Romneys, and then they ended up with Haunui later on down the road. So it's a great spin, absolutely fantastic, and it's sort of taken hand spinning by storm, rightfully so. It's new and it's wonderful. So we process it from the raw fleece. Harriet sends monster amounts over at a time. And anyway, there's the story of Haunui wool. Do I have the gray fleece that I blended it with? Not you. You? I'm gonna show you. Oh yeah, this is it. Okay. So in the monster boxes of wool that Harriet sent over, one of the colors was this one. And I actually considered using this one and not the black when the color story, when I was still kind of thinking through this. Oh, this is the color that I mixed into the super black. Just this big old glob. You can see it's got a real, I'm kind of going grayies, warm colds. I don't know what I'm saying, but this is the color that I pulled out. And then I only took a little bit to cut into the ebony, just to get that lift I wanted into a charcoal briquette. Look at this lock. So this one's one of the more medium micron ones. I think this one was like maybe 24 microns. So there it is. There's this lock. And then I put a little bit of this, I can't even remember the percentage, but it was small, with the hogget. So this is an adult sheep, but these are the hoggets. So much finer. So I was a little curious about, how they were going to blend, to take the more medium one and blend it, cut it into this one to give it that lift. It blended like a stinking dream. Good job, big homie. We love the big homie. And then so a little bit of that plus that equals blob. If you can see, if I can hold this right so you guys can see how it altered it. And it just brought that charcoal vibe I was looking for into the blob. So I got the color that I wanted. There's all my stories. Okay, processing Haunui. This one is a little bit different. This is the one, okay, we have some exceptions to our normal scour rules. So for the Advent, I just blanket washed everything 3 times. Everything got 3 scours. Even if I knew it probably didn't need it. I got, like, say, some kind of a meat sheep from such and such for Canada. I've got some, but because I was doing guts, because I was washing at such high volume, I didn't want to mess around. I didn't want to have to go back and rescour anything. And I was using all new producers, new shepherds. Sometimes I didn't know if it was a ram or if it was a ewe, or if, just because the information I knew for Delightful, but I didn't always know for True North, right? So I just, for precaution, scoured everything 3 times. I'm normally a scour everything 2 times, and I'm watching soap bubbles. They're telling me stories to know if I need to do a 3rd scour. I have all these determinations, okay? With the Advent, I didn't risk it. I just did everything 3 times. With Haunui, we do it 3 times, and you heat up a kettle. You get your water way hotter. I scour at 145 degrees is what I scour at. We're talking like 170 for Haunui. When we first got this stuff raw, we wash. We got suds. I'm looking at all my suds. I wash a lot of wool. I know my way around wool. And we're like, all the signs are pointing to this thing's free of lanolin. All the signs, okay? I wash what? 1,000 pounds a year? I should add that up. Probably more. Like, and so I feel like I got a pretty good idea of what I'm looking at by this point. And then we lay it all out onto screens, and then we're picking it open, and I'm like, do you feel that? And Aaron's like, I do, but there's no way. Like, it was sudsy. I'm like, I know. And the two of us are like, what the heck? And this would have been, when did we get our first batch of raw? I don't even remember. This year? Last year? What? Last year? I don't know. Okay, Harriet will know. Harriet, we need you. So we learned on the first 3 fleece, like, okay. So Aaron actually was the doctor of that one, and he did all the diagnostics. And what we needed to do was bump the water. We did the same amount of scours, but we got the water hotter. I don't know why. Could be diet, could be climate, could be genetics. We needed the hotter water to shift the grease out of this, which was funny because it visually did everything that a grease-free rinse would, or grease-free scour would do. So just note, if you guys get this raw, boil a kettle. And when you're filling up your bucket or your sink or whatever you're doing, add kettle boiled water, get it a little bit hotter. This one was Trixie. So now whenever we wash Haunui, we just get it hotter. That's my one note. When you card it, your first pass will have you worried. You'll pull it off. Like, all first passes can look a little bit like, you know, but like this one looks really, that's the word I'm using because I don't actually know what to say. I don't know how to describe it. I'm out of descriptors today. But you infer my meaning with my sound. So this, when it came off Big Homie, you're like, huh? Is it okay? Second pass, you're like, okay. Third pass, you're like, oh my goodness, this is the nicest wool I've ever seen in my whole entire life. This one has like a crazy glow up when you're carding it. Again, so different than what we're used to working with. So Aaron will openly, Aaron, my husband, almost completely runs Big Homie, okay? I do too, but this is his bestie. And Aaron will openly say that he loves processing Haunui because you get the greatest before and after result from your first pass to your third pass. You have to go on faith after that first pass. So just for anyone who might get raw Haunui, these are just little notes that we have that may or may not be helpful to you as we talk about, Harriet's here! Finally! Where have you been? I've been telling tales of your wool, probably wrong. So you need to correct them in the chat, and then everybody can read the chat later. And I am. It was your mom that developed the breed, yeah? In the late 80s? And you guys were sort of like the crazy neighbors who were on purpose producing colored sheep? This is me pausing for Harriet to jump in when she's literally live texting this, probably in like a truck out in a pasture. Or maybe not, because I don't know what time it is in New Zealand right now. Okay, so there it is. There's all my stories. If anyone has questions about processing Haunui, Harriet can ship raw Haunui into the States easily, and I think some other places easily. She cannot bring it into Canada easily. We have these funny shipping regulations. So the plan, once Canada Post isn't on strike anymore, is Harriet is going to send me, it's all ready to go, a monster box of Haunui, or boxes, and then I'll get them up on my website. So if anybody wants to try this raw, as soon as the post is open again, she's going to send that box. She just can't send it now because Canada Post is not receiving parcels, right? Because it's on strike. So as soon as it's open, she's going to send the monster box. I'm going to get fleeces on my site, and you guys in Canada can try this. If you're in the States, Harriet sells into the States. But if you're in Canada and you want to try raw Haunui, I'm going to have it in the shop. So you guys are going to be able to try raw Haunui. But there it is. There it is. Amazing, beautiful, spectacular Haunui wool from Haunui in New Zealand. Darkness, no parents. If you, you have to go look it up, okay? Look up the song if you don't know it. It's from the Lego movie. Batman is the best. There it is. I talked about, okay, it's a very long live, but that's okay, because today is for slowness and chit chats. That's what my day is going to be. So we talked about everybody here. Harriet says my tails are correct. Gold star for me. Boop, gong. Okay, so here's today. We got our True North, our CVM from West Coast Color blended with beautiful, a little Bo Peep, our CVM from West Coast Color with beautiful Carmela from 100 Fold Fiber in Manitoba. And that's the alpaca. And then our gorgeous How Nui kind of color matching custom blend where I took this gorgeous little Hogget and I blended it with a tiny percentage of this beautiful higher micron little silvery friend to get this gorgeous color. Ooh, and that's what we've got today. Okay, I talked about washing them, carding them, processing them, the wools, the breeds. We showed the art. Custom, hand painted by a local artist. I can't find that sheep. It's going to drive me nuts. I'll find it. I'll find it. I'll pop it on Instagram. I'll bring it back tomorrow. Okay. Are we done? We're done. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, someone asked me a question about scouring rams versus ewes. Yeah, we do extra scours on rams as a rule. So if I'm a normal, for me, my water temperature, the soap I use, pH balance here in the Pacific Northwest, I am a 2 times scour. Double soap on the first, 1 soap on the second. That pretty much is a winning combo for me. Might not be a winning combo for you because you may have different conditions and hard water and whatever. I do have an entire YouTube video called Scour dedicated to just chit-chatting about this. I don't show it, but I talk about it. With a ram, I don't care where it comes from in the world. Doesn't matter, okay? Any ram, anywhere in the world, I'm scouring it 3 times. That's my rule. I just find those guys hold on to grease or whatever it is more than the ewes do. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's all in my head. I don't think so, because every time I've had to rescour a fleece, that sucker's been a ram. And so I don't mess around anymore. By rule now, I scour my rams 3 times. So I would go 2 soaps on the first, 1 on the second, 1 on the third, and then rinse, 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 or rinse, rinse, depending on how you're going to do. It's like a greasy thing. It's like they have some other kind of like deep-seated grease that doesn't come out. Even if it's like a coated sheep, I'm scouring this thing 3 times. So that's my rule. That's my rule. Someone said they want more house coat lives. You're probably going to get them. I started real strong, right? But this thing does go for 13 days and I am sort of like pajama vibe. It's my favorite thing. Okay. If no one else has questions, then we're going to say goodbye to day 7. And I'm going to go get another cup of coffee and I'm going to go sit and spin. And it's going to be wonderful. I really liked showing these days. I felt like there was just a lot to talk about in the breeds. So thanks for being here with me for so long. And for pajama time, coffee time, YouTube live. Tomorrow, you're going to see what I blended the How Nui with. And we're going to open up Saskatchewan's alpaca. And we're going to see what wool carried it. Oh my gosh. It's a BC wool. What did I do? I didn't do that on purpose. Just right now I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Yep. Way. That worked out weird. If you guys knew how I planned True North, I shared a little bit about it. That worked out really weird. One last thing before I go. Just gonna leave you with that. Hold on tight, little spider monkeys. Okay, I'm going. Love you all. Thanks for joining me this morning. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's meet at 9 again. and open up our next days. Okay. Okay. Kisses. Goodbye.